Hi everyone, welcome back to our tutorial. In today's lesson, we are diving into one of the building blocks of programming, and that's functions. Functions are essential in coding as they allow us to break down tasks, make our code reusable, and keep everything organized. By the end of today, you will know how to define functions, call them, and make the most of parameters and return values, including named and default parameters. Let's get started. First, what is a function? So let's look at what function is all about in that. First, let's start with the basics. A function is simply a set of instructions that performs a specific task. Think of it as a mini program within a program. Functions help us reduce repetition by allowing us to reuse code. For instance, if you want to print greeting 10 times, you wouldn't need to write the same code 10 times again. Instead, you call a function 10 times or the greeting function 10 times. Function make our code cleaner, shorter, and easier to understand. So let's jump into defining and calling function. So first of all, we need to start create our project. So let's quickly create our project. So we use the terminal method to quickly create our project. So let's start. This is our terminal. Let's clear it and make it okay. I think it's okay like this. So clear. What you need to do is to first of all look for the directory where we want to keep our project and we start. So let's cd documents, documents, let's cd flutter, let's okay. This flutter directory is where I want to create our project. So say that create, that's t of console. I'll call it functions. Functions. So functions would be the name of our project. So let's create. It is created. So if I check, we hope to see functions here, right? Functions. So let's code functions. Code functions. So enter. This will open it our VS Code. Great. So in case you don't understand what's happened earlier, how we created a project in a terminal, don't worry. I'll drop the link in our bio where we've already learned how to create that project using the terminal or the VS Code. So let's continue. Let me reduce this back to normal. So this is our VS Code. Um, let's give it a full screen. Also increase this. Okay, I think it's okay like this. So as usual, we are back to base. So we'll be using the bin directory. So you see our function is there. We don't want to use this one. So let's quickly delete it. Where is delete? Okay, delete, move to trash and create a new file. I will call it example one dot that example one dot that. Okay, good. I think it looks bigger. I think it's okay like this. Okay, good. So let's jump into some code. In that, defining a function is straightforward. You start with the void keyword, if your function doesn't return anything, followed by the function name and parentheses inside the curly braces. So you write the code you want the function to um, execute. So let's look at it. So we are looking at defining and calling functions. Defining and calling functions. So let's say defining, yeah, defining. Is this how it's spelled? Defining. Okay, good. Defining and calling function. Defining and calling function. So as usual, we start with our void main. Good, like this. The parentheses and the curly braces. So as usual, we can just say print, um, and we'll say welcome to that tutorial or something like welcome to that, yeah, something like this. And if we print, we'll get welcome to that tutorial. Remember, this is a very big function, and this void main itself is a function. And in our explanation, we said the program is like a function and having some other functions inside. So we'll be looking at defining and calling functions. So we don't want to do this here. So let's create another function. I will say void greet, void greet, yeah, void greet, okay, yeah, like this. And we move this one, we'll move this one here. Okay, we'll move this one here. So we'll say welcome to that. Okay, let's call the greet inside our void main. So we'll say greet good, like this. Okay, let's go to our terminal and go to terminal like this. Okay, close this one. And let's run this code and see the output. Okay, we say that it's okay. We are in the bin directory. So, okay, lib directory. So we use the lib slash example one dot that. So if you enter, you see the outcome. It's here. Welcome to that. This is a simple example of a defining and calling function. Let's do another, give another example. So create a new project. I'll call it example 2 dot that. Before we go to example 2 dot that, let's quickly explain what's happening here. Here we've defined a function called greet that just prints a greeting. But how do we use it? We call it by typing its name followed by parentheses like this inside our void main. Let's look at the example 2, not that. In this example, we'll be looking at function parameters and return values. So function parameters and return function parameters and return values. Okay, this is the example we want to look at, function parameters and return value. So let's start by our usual void main. Okay, like this. Sorry, void main. Okay, we'll keep it, and below let's create the function greet user. We'll say void greet user. Okay, we'll do something like this. So in this, at this inside the parentheses is where we want to pass the parameter. So we say string string name, so let's say print hello name. Okay, hello name, comma, and we say welcome to that programming. Welcome to that programming. Cool. So what do we do? As usual, inside our void main, we call the greet user function. So let's say greet user and the name. You see, the name is required. So we'll say John Doe, right? So we'll remove this. Keep it, I'm sorry, keep it like this. John Doe. So we save this code. Let's run again. First, let's clear this. Clear here, and we'll say print as usual. Let's call this one, and in this example it will be example2 dot that. So we run the code. You see hello John Doe, welcome to that programming. Now this is the part I was explaining. Instead of writing the same code all over and all over again, we'll just be calling the function, right? We'll just be calling the function. So let's call another one. So the same greet user. So greet user, and this time around, who do we want to call? We'll say John Peter. Okay, John Peter. Okay, and close it, and let's try print again. Here in our terminal, let's try print again. You see, hello John Doe, welcome to programming. Hello John Peter, welcome to that programming. So instead of writing this method all over and all over again, we just pass this parameter, the name parameter, and telling our code that okay, anywhere you are using or calling this greet user, remember to pass this parameter, right? Remember to add this parameter because this parameter is required, right? Remember to always pass this parameter. Anywhere you are calling this, just pass this parameter and we are cool. So instead of writing this long code all over and all over again, just call this user and pass the name to it and we are cool with it. So let's look at another example. So say example 4 dot that's okay. Example 3, create another one, and we'll say example 3 dot that's example 3 dot that. So we want to look at return values, right? We want to look at how return values works in front. The first one we didn't return anything. So let's look at how the return value works. So it's as usual, say void main, and void int, because int had number. Void doesn't return anything, so we say int had numbers. Int had numbers. So and we'll do it this way. So what we want to do is to return return a plus b. a a plus b, right? So we keep it this way, a plus b, like this. Good, cool. So if we hover around it, we'll say undefined name a plus a undefined name b. However, around here you see undefined name a. So let's quickly define the a. So it will be int a, and int b. And you see it's cool with it. So as usual, let's go to the top and call the add numbers. So we'll call the add numbers. You see it needs what? A and b. Well, let's try and see if we'll get any results. So first let's clear clear our terminal, and start again. So let's give A 10 and B 15, and let's try run it and see what will happen. So save the code, and as usual this time it's going to be example 3 dot that, and run the code. We didn't get anything. Did we save the code? Okay, let's try again and see if we get something. Okay, okay, we didn't get anything. So what do we do? Okay, what we are expected to do is this. We need to first initialize the method first, right? First to initialize the method. So how do we initialize it? We'll come to the top and said int add numbers. Okay, add numbers. Okay, let's do it this way instead of this. We'll say, oh, I did not even print it. So we'll say int add numbers, results, results, results equals to this. So, right? So we'll say print. What do you want to do? We print the results. Okay, good, 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 good. I'll print the results. Okay, save it, and let's run it once again and see how it comes. Okay, cool. 25, right? See, this is our result. 25. 10 plus 15 is what? 25. Let's try another one again. Copy this and we paste it. Let's call it result 2, and this time around it will be 16 65, 16 65, and it's a print called result 2. Okay, let's save this code and print it. Okay, you see 85. Now this is what we are explaining. So instead of us to be writing this method again or function again, we've already written the function down somewhere that anytime we want to add two numbers, instead of writing this function over and over inside our code, we simply call this add numbers and pass these two words needed required parameters, which are a and b. Then we are good to go. So it's simple, cleaner, and easier to read. Let's look at another example. This time around it's called named parameters and default values. Named parameters and default values. So let's create a new file. We'll call it example 4 dot that. Example 4 dot that. Let's go. As usual, we'll create our void main, or this time around let's first create a function. So we'll say void introduce user. Okay, introduce user inside our parentheses. We now have another curly brace inside the parentheses. You see another curly brace inside the parentheses. This is for named parameters. So we want to declare or define our default values. So we'll say name string name equals to ab, string name equals to ab, and then int age equals to, let's say, 20. Okay, equals to 20. You get? And inside here, let's say print hello. So say hello, my name, my name is name. Good. My name is name and I am 8 years old. My name is name and I am 8 years. Cool. So let's go into our void main function and print it. Don't be confused why I'm using the void main below. Don't worry, it's the same. Just the same thing. No issue. What matters most is that whatever you are doing should be called inside the void main, either above or below. But the function should be called inside the void main. Right? Anything, because if you don't call it inside this void main, this code will not be printed. So let's call our introduce user, introduce user, and it doesn't yell at us, right? We haven't passed the name or the age parameters, but you see there is no issue. The code is working fine. So let's print and see what is happening here. So we print, and this time around it will be example 4. You save the code and run, and you see hello, my name is AB and I am 20 years old. So what is basically happening here is this: in this named parameters or default value, look, we have already assigned a default value to this name and a default value to the age. What we are basically telling this function to do is that, okay, when you are using this function, if you don't want to pass any parameter, if you don't want to pass a different name or age, then that just simply use the default name and the age for us, right? Just name the default name and the age for us. So let's call the introduce user function again, and then this time around we want to pass a name and 50. Okay, so let's say name, right? Name this, okay, and age, right? 50. Get? So the name, let's say John Doe, right? John Doe. Okay, what is happening here? I've already explained. We are now passing the name, calling the name, right? And the age, passing the age. But this year at the top, we didn't pass the age nor the name, right? Neither the name or the age. But here we are passing them. So I've explained this is we've already given a default value here for age and name. So in case we don't want to pass any name, that will call these names for us. But if we pass any name, these names will then override the default values that we provided. So let's see. Once again, we'll come here and print. You got, so the default name and the default name has been overridden. Here we'll get hello, my name is John Doe and I am 50 years old. I think you get the logic. It's a bit clearer. It's a bit clearer. So you can play around with it, do some other example with maybe more values. You can add pass more parameters and play around with it. Look, let's look at a common use case, with function. So let's go and we'll say example 5. Example 5 dot example 5 dot. So now that you know how to create and use function, let's go over some common use cases. The functions are great for repetitive tasks like calculations, data processing, or even UI updates in apps. So imagine you are building a shopping app and you want to calculate the total price of items in a cart. You could create a function like this. Let's go. say double. um Double calculate total. We'll call it here. I'll call it calculate total. Double calculate total. We'll keep it like this. And is something missing? Okay, what do we? Okay, the body might be complete. All right, let's go. So body. So say double. Yeah, equals to 0. And at this top, let's first pass our parameters. We see it will be a list of parameters, a list of doubles. So list double, and we'll call them price or prices. We'll call them prices. Okay, so let's go for farm price in prices var price in prices. What should happen? Say total plus equals to price, and what we do, we want to return, yeah, return the total. Return the total. Okay, yeah, our code is good. You get a logic. So we want to pass a list of prices, and we look around, we look through it. First, we will assign the total to 0. It will start from 0, and we started adding the numbers, then we'll print the sum. This is a loop. Why this is a list? Don't worry, we've not got into that, but this is just an example. Just know it. So when we get to list and loops, you will not be confused. So let's go to avoid main and see how we can use this calculate total function. So as usual, so we void main. So let's first create a list of prices. So say list. Okay, let's leave it like this. List prices equals to item. Let's call it item prices equals to a list. So we'll say 50, okay, 50 days, comma 40 dot 5, comma dot list. So these are our list of items prices, the different prices we have in our list. So what we want to do is sum all these numbers we have together, and then get the total item, right? Get the total item. So let's call, say double, sorry, okay, yeah, it is. Now double total, um calculate total. What do we have? So what you want to do is to call this item price. So let's hover around this item price, and what's happening, the argument type list dynamic can be assigned to what, a list of parameter double. Technically, this list is a dynamic list, right? This list is a dynamic list. If you look at this one, this is an integer, right? This is an integer, these are doubles, these are double, but this is an integer. So this list by default is a dynamic list. Look at it, it's a dynamic list. So we have to change the type to a double to make it a double. So what we do is to pass the double here. Let's call it double. So this way, you see, if you hover around it, it becomes what, a list double, right? It's now a double list double. If you remove it, uh, if you remove this guy from here and try hover around it again, you see that this list is sort a dynamic list, right? A dynamic list. So let's go back. So, and see, we have no issue. What you want to do is to now print the total. Now print the total, print the total, and we are good to go. So let's clear the screen again. Once again, clear and print again. So we haven't saved the code. That's what it's saying. So clear again and print. Oh, we're supposed to print example 5 dot that. Okay, example 5 dot that. And you see, it sums all these ones together and give us 1513.8. You can try this with different values. Change the value and you see we get a different value, 1513.5. So we can do more. We had some other values here. 55, let's say 11.3. Save the code and try run again. You see we got a different value. So this is a list of items. Let's say you go to the shop and added different items to your cart with different prices. So we need to calculate all these different items you've selected, the prices, and sum them together to give you the total price. So this is what we have been doing in this place. So functions are fundamental concepts in programming and critical parts of that. So they help us write clean, reusable, and maintainable code. We learn how to define and call functions, use parameters and return values, and even explore new parameters with default values. I encourage you to try creating a new function of your own to see how they can simplify your code. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next lesson. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next video.